Okay, welcome back to the garden. It is May 5th, 2022, and I'm doing an update on my green stalks and my tomato tub. Again, if you're new here, we are living in an apartment in Northern California. We're allowed 3 planters. So we have 3 GreenStalk planters and our little wine barrel. I did combine the green stalks between leaf planters and the regular tier to make it what we needed, the best for what we needed. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. So our tomato plants have been growing like crazy. We just hit 90 degrees yesterday. So we have been on the warmer side. We're dropping back down to the 60s this weekend, but they are thriving and doing wonderful. So this one is the Berries Crazy Cherry, and you can see this little cluster right here, and we have another cluster right here. These are multifloral. They're gonna get huge. They're gonna have huge big bunches of tons and tons of them hanging off. So we grew this last year. We absolutely loved it. You get a ton of tomato in a little bit of space. So these are going to keep growing. They're indeterminates, and I have these large poles for them to grow up. This is a new one I'm trying this year. I'm going to let this go for part of the season, and then in the summer, when this is probably going to start struggling, I'm going to start a slicer because I want some fried green tomatoes, and so for the fall I'll do a slicer here, a smaller slicer. But this is the black strawberry, and I have my first flower open, so we should be starting to get some tomatoes forming here soon. I did throw in a micro tomato black here. This is a tiny Tim. It's not as small as the orange hat, but they are still stay on the smaller side, and I do have some flowers back here. I just planted a radish here and here, popping through this. This is Thai basil. I have a beautiful nasturtium over here. And then I planted some seeds for a blue spice basil, so we'll see if those come up. We had an incident with leaf blower and mulch people for the apartments. So this GreenStalk planter is really filling out. You're gonna see some marks on here. The apartments I live in, they had them come lay this mulch, and it's died, and it was coming from a tube, and it shot all over my plants. So that just happened the other day. I haven't had a chance to get out here and try to scrub it off. I'm hoping I can get it off, but nothing else has stained it, so I'm hoping this doesn't. Up here on the first tier, we have all of our hyssop and our agastache plants. They are doing great. The actual Korean hyssop is doing, it's the biggest, it's been growing the biggest and the fastest. They do like, the spiders like to hang out on these quite a bit, which is kind of fun. Each plant smells a little bit different. I'm really excited about these taking off here. And then the tier below them actually has a basil, and I had a lot of problems with pincher bugs or earwigs, and so I had to trim a bunch of stuff off. I started some new seed in some of the pockets. Some of these I trimmed up, and I'm trying to just let them go. So we're gonna see what happens there. The third tier is beans. This is growing great. All the beans are wonderful. The purple flowers are all the dragon tongue bush beans, and then the pink flowers are the tongues of fire. You can tell we've got little beans popping out and growing, so we should be having beans coming through anytime now that are big enough to harvest. Look at, there's flowers everywhere though. So that's in my third tier. And then the fourth tier, and I did set this up higher than what we normally would do. So what I did is you either get 5 regular tiers for your tower, or you get 7 of the leaf. So what I did is I did 3 of the regular and 3 of the leaf, which makes it about the same height as 5 of the regular. It's the same height, and I get 6 more planting spots, so that's why I did that. I ended up having some peppers that died that I had started from seed, so I went ahead and grabbed some of the ones that I really wanted to grow. I had shishito that died, so I went ahead and grabbed that. And then my bell pepper died, and I picked up a yellow bell pepper. This one is still going. I lost my sign on which one that is. I know it's a sweeter, oh, it's a Pippin's Honey, Golden Honey from Baker Creek. So that's a Pippin's Golden Honey, and that's a Pippin's Golden Honey back there. So they're hanging in there. And then I don't remember what that one is. I lost all kinds of tags. I don't remember which one that one is. And then my jalapeno is growing great. Down here I've got a zinnia that's finally, I thought the cold got it. We had a late freeze and I thought it took it out, but it's actually starting. Then this plant is bigger than any marigold I've ever grown. I'm kind of getting concerned that it's not a marigold, but when I did picture this, it came up as a marigold, so I don't know. I'm just letting it go, and we will see what happens. And then this pocket, I had gotten those organic little medley of potatoes in the little bags from the store, and I planted one of the purple ones. And I have all of that coming out. So I'm really excited about this. This is my first time growing potatoes. So I'm hoping that they're gonna work okay in here. They're a huge plant. That is my jalapeno. That was another one that died very early on, so I went and bought a start for that. And we've got lots of flowers and lots of little peppers started. I did have some cold issues, so I'm hoping the cold didn't snap back some of those peppers. This is the Black Hungarian, and it lasted through the cold, but then it got shot really hard with the bark. So you could tell it got torn up. I'm hoping that this thing comes back. It's holding its own right now, so I'm hoping that it works, but you can tell like it was in the line of fire. So we'll see what happens there. And then that one's a Thai hot pepper because the lemon drop died. And then I lost a bunch of my herbs down here, so I have seeds started for all different basils. I've got some more Thai sweet basil down there. And so I did all kinds of different basils down there. This tower is full of life. I've been harvesting from this one like crazy. So on the top is all calendula, and you can see they are getting ready to open. That one has a little bug on top. There's a ladybug hanging around. So we've got lots of flowers about ready to open. On the second tier, I've got Nasturtium here. This is an orange one. It's so pretty. This one is great. I've been harvesting the leaves and adding them to my focaccia breads and into my egg stir fries and things. These collards are actually from the winter. They were doing really, really good, and we've been harvesting from them. But I think when we just hit 90 yesterday, this was not here. And it is going to go to seed. So my daughter's going to be heartbroken, but I think we're losing the collards finally. Luckily, she gets to harvest and eat the last of these this weekend. So these collards have been great. They are the Georgia Southern collards. We have been harvesting tons off of this. This one, I had some pineapple sage in here, And I think that the pineapple sage that I had bought from the store had spider mites, because both the one I had on the bottom tier and the one I had up here, I had harvested this one and rooted it and planted it up here, and it had spider mites, and the other pineapple sage had spider mites. So I don't know exactly what the story is there, but I went ahead and pulled them because I didn't want to sacrifice my other plants. So I need to plant something else there. We've got some parsley still hanging on, and we've got 3 plants of chamomile. This is a zucchini, a summer squash of some sort. I believe it's a zucchini. This one is a sweet potato slip that I started inside, and I rooted it, and I'm trying it in here. From what I understand, the leaves are edible, so I'm hoping that it can grow down a little bit. I'll trim them and then keep doing that, letting it grow and trim. Got some more nasturtium. This is a very pretty pink. I just fertilized this. I'm hoping that this one takes off a little bit more. This one's been smaller ever since it was planted. This is a cucumber that only gets 3 feet long, and I'm hoping that it takes off and we'll have room to hang down. The chives are right here, so that's the next thing underneath it, and that can handle some shade, so I'm hoping that does pretty good. And then we have another sweet potato. This one's not doing as good as the other one. We have all the mints. Oop, that spider jump scared me. We have all the mints. We have peppermint, chocolate mint, and orange mint. This is a pineapple mint. We've got spearmint. That one's the chocolate mint. That one's strawberry mint. What did I miss? Oh, and orange mint. Down on this level, I have some lettuce that I went ahead and planted. It's a bronze lettuce, and I'm hoping those just started sprouting, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to harvest a little bit of lettuce from that. And then my eggplants got hit hard by the frost, and they got hit hard by the bark and the pincher bugs. But I have 3 different types, and I'm hoping at least one of them takes off really well. I mean, they're still hanging in there, so I'm just letting them do their thing and crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. I've got some regular thyme. I've got an orange lemon balm. That thing has not grown. I started that from seed. This one I also started from seed at the same time, and this is the limoncello lemon balm, and it's growing just fine, so I don't know. This is a lemon balm I bought from the store because my regular lemon balm didn't grow, and I've harvested from this quite a few times, so excited about that. There's my chives, my lemon thyme, and then this was my pineapple sage that I just cut out, and so I'm going to plant something else in there. And that is the tour of where we are right now. Everything's growing like crazy. I mean, this is a learning curve, growing most of these things. There's a lot of things that aren't meant necessarily for containers, like the potatoes and the sweet potatoes for these style containers. So I'm hoping that it all pulls together as we have all the nice warm weather. Everything is really starting to take off. Fertilizing it seemed to help. Some of the plants, I'm hoping, like this guy, takes off now. And I'll probably check back in and do another tour in the next couple of weeks, because I know that there is a lot of growth that happens pretty quickly. The mints, you're going to continuously see smaller because those will get really bushy, and I try really hard to keep them harvested and dehydrating them so I can store them up for the winter and for teas. So like, this is ready for me to come in and harvest some of these, and I'll set up the dehydrator trays with one tray with all the each different type of mint. So that's where we are. Let me know what you're growing in your green stalks down below if you are growing in them. Again, we're zone 9B, an apartment garden, and thank you for following along on our journey.